Everyone talks about India's S-400. Everyone talks about the Akash missile system. Yet one of the most important components of India's air defense architecture rarely enters the public conversation. It doesn't dominate headlines, it doesn't generate the excitement associated with long-range interceptors, and it is often overshadowed by more famous systems. Yet without it, India's layered air defense network would contain a dangerous vulnerability. That system is the MRSAM, or Medium-Range Surface-to-Air Missile, better known as the Barak 8. Modern warfare has transformed the nature of aerial threats. Nations no longer rely solely on fighter aircraft to penetrate enemy airspace. Today's battlefield includes drones, cruise missiles, standoff weapons, electronic warfare platforms, and increasingly sophisticated precision-guided munitions. If you found this analysis valuable, make sure to like the video and subscribe to Strategic Vanguard. You can also follow us across platforms. We're on YouTube, Rumble, and Odyssey, so you never miss our strategic insights. Prefer audio? Tune in on Spotify and Amazon Music, and take Strategic Vanguard with you wherever you go. For deeper, structured analysis, visit strategicvanguard.com/analysis and stay updated with our latest news and views at strategicvanguard.com. Strategic thinking begins with informed perspectives. Stay with Strategic Vanguard. Defending against such threats requires far more than a single missile system. It requires a network of overlapping defensive layers capable of detecting, tracking, and engaging targets across different ranges and altitudes. The effectiveness of an air defense architecture is therefore determined not by its strongest individual component, but by how well all of its layers work together. This is where the strategic importance of MRSAM becomes apparent. India's air defense network contains both short-range and long-range defensive systems. The Akash missile family protects targets at shorter ranges, while the S-400 provides long-range engagement capabilities against aircraft and missile threats. However, military planners have long understood that the space between these defensive layers can become a dangerous gap if not properly covered. A threat that survives the outer defensive ring and penetrates beyond long-range interception zones must still face a robust defensive layer before reaching critical infrastructure, military bases, command centers, and strategic assets. MRSAM exists to fill precisely this requirement. The significance of MRSAM extends beyond simple range coverage. Developed through a strategic partnership between India and Israel, the system represents a broader evolution in India's approach to military modernization. Rather than relying solely on imported systems, India sought to participate in the development process, creating a weapon tailored to its operational requirements, while simultaneously strengthening domestic defense manufacturing capabilities. The result was a versatile missile system capable of serving multiple branches of the Indian military, including the Army, Navy, and Air Force. This multi-service adoption is strategically important. Modern warfare increasingly depends on integrated operations where information, sensors, and weapons are connected across domains. The ability to share data, coordinate engagements, and maintain a common operational picture significantly enhances defensive effectiveness. By deploying variants of the same missile family across land and maritime environments, India has strengthened its ability to create a more unified and networked defense architecture. The true value of MRSAM emerges when viewed through the lens of future warfare. Potential adversaries are unlikely to launch isolated attacks involving a single aircraft or missile. Instead, modern military doctrine increasingly emphasizes saturation attacks designed to overwhelm defensive systems through numbers, speed, and complexity. Drones may arrive alongside cruise missiles. Electronic warfare assets may attempt to degrade sensors, while fighter aircraft launch standoff munitions from beyond visual range. The defender's challenge is no longer simply intercepting individual targets, but managing an entire spectrum of threats simultaneously. MRSAM contributes directly to solving this challenge. It strengthens the density of India's defensive network and increases the number of opportunities available to engage incoming threats. Every additional defensive layer forces an attacker to expend more resources, accept greater operational risk, and allocate more assets to mission success. In strategic terms, the objective is not necessarily to make attack impossible, but to make attack increasingly costly and uncertain. The naval dimension further amplifies the missile's importance. India's growing maritime ambitions require naval forces capable of operating across vast distances in the Indian Ocean and the wider Indo-Pacific region. Modern warships face persistent threats from anti-ship missiles, combat aircraft, and unmanned systems. For carrier battle groups and surface action groups, survival depends upon maintaining a strong defensive shield around the fleet. The naval variant of the Barak 8 plays a critical role in this mission, helping protect not only individual ships but entire formations operating far from home waters. The strategic significance of MRSAM becomes even clearer when viewed in the context of India's long-term competition with China. The People's Liberation Army possesses extensive missile forces, advanced combat aircraft, and rapidly expanding drone capabilities. In any future confrontation, India would likely face a complex threat environment involving multiple attack vectors and large-scale precision strike capabilities. Under such circumstances, air defense effectiveness would depend heavily on the resilience and depth of India's defensive architecture. Systems such as MRSAM provide that depth. They ensure that adversaries encounter multiple engagement zones rather than isolated defensive pockets, complicating operational planning and increasing the likelihood of interception. SV Signature Take. Public discussions of military power often focus on the most visible and prestigious platforms. Long-range missile systems attract attention because of their impressive engagement ranges. Indigenous programs attract attention because they symbolize national achievement. Yet military effectiveness is frequently determined by the systems that connect these capabilities together. The less celebrated components of a network often provide the resilience, flexibility, and operational coherence that transform individual weapons into an integrated warfighting system. MRSAM is one such system. Its strategic importance lies not in replacing the S-400 or competing with Akash, but in ensuring that India's air defense shield functions as a continuous and layered architecture. It is the bridge that connects multiple defensive rings into a unified whole. The strength of India's air defense network is not measured by a single missile or a single radar. It is measured by the ability of every layer to work together against increasingly sophisticated threats. Within that architecture, MRSAM occupies a position of critical importance. It may not generate the headlines of the S-400, and it may not receive the recognition often given to Akash, but it helps hold India's aerial shield together. In the evolving battlespace of the 21st century, that may be one of the most important roles. If you found this analysis valuable, make sure to like the video and subscribe to Strategic Vanguard. You can also follow us across platforms. We're on YouTube, Rumble, and Odyssey, so you never miss our strategic insights. Prefer audio? Tune in on Spotify and Amazon Music, and take Strategic Vanguard with you wherever you go. For deeper, structured analysis, visit strategicvanguard.com/analysis and stay updated with our latest news and views at strategicvanguard.com. Strategic thinking begins with informed perspectives. Stay with Strategic Vanguard.